Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Michael Mastro. Today we're going to look at the chart for legendary musician Jimmy Buffett. May he rest in peace. If you look to the eastern horizon using Vedic sidereal zodiac, not Western tropical zodiac, you would see the constellation associated with Virgo rising at 25 degrees. First, we'll look and see how the planets are operating and how they support his success, and then we'll look at the timing of events and what could be done to strengthen the chart. So any multicona sign, 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 11, that's in the 6th, 8th, or the 12th house, the ruler of that sign can be challenging and is said to be functionally malefic. So for Sun, you see the sign of the 5th sign of Leo in the 12th house. So Sun can be challenging. Sun is ruling that 12th house and it's sitting in the 4th house. So it gives him the 12th house is separation, gives him the ability to separate from who he is to take on different roles as a businessman, as a musician. And his music is actually titled Island Escapism. So 12th house has to do with escape from all the responsibilities of life and learning to relax, which is his hit song, Margaritaville, exemplifies. So a weak sun can also indicate heart issues and autoimmune issues. He did have a heart attack and different types of cancer, which we'll talk about. His moon is more than 25 degrees. Any planet that's more than 25 or less than 5 is said to be in infant or old age state and cannot protect its own significations. So moon is ruling the house of income, sitting in the 4th house of property. He did have quite a few retail stores. He was a successful businessman, selling clothes, a clothing line. But because it's weak, it can affect his autoimmune system, and he did have lymphoma. In fact, that was his lymphoma was the cause of death. He has a challenging Mars. Mars is, you have the 1st sign of Aries in the 8th house, a challenging house, and it's ruled by Mars, so Mars can be challenging. And it is placed in the 4th house as well, and is conjunct the sun. So Mars in his chart gives the retail properties. Mars is a significator for properties. And then also because it is challenging, it is connected to 8th house type of illness that's difficult to cure. He did have prostate cancer, skin cancer, inflammation. He also had a plane crash connected to Mars. Then Mercury is very strong in his chart and gives him life purpose through music, communication. He found the humorous things in life and he wrote songs about them and communicated that to others to lighten the trials and tribulations of life. And then Jupiter is in old age too. It's weak. It's ruling the house of family. He did have 2 marriages, 1 divorce. And Jupiter, because it's weak, can affect tumor growth in the lymph nodes. Then we have weak old age Venus as well, close to the rising sign degree, and it's conjunct Jupiter. and it gives wealth and fame through the fine arts, which is the performing arts, which is the music, and it's aspecting the eighth house, which is easy gains. And again, a Jupiter having to do with family and couple divorces. Then we have, Venus having to do with relationships, because it is weak, affected divorce. And then we have Saturn, the third malefic, aside from Rahu and Ketu. You see the 11th sign of Aquarius, ruled by Saturn, in the 6th house. So Saturn is sitting in the house of income. And so the 6th house has to do with health and conflict. And he did buy a baseball team. It also has to do with competition, some income from that. Saturn sitting in the house of income. He did have torn rotator cuff. Saturn has to do with the skeletal structure. And also the cancers would be also related to Saturn. Rahu and Ketu. Rahu is giving desire for good fortune, sitting in the 9th house, and Ketu giving insights into success, intuition, to be a successful businessman and musician. And then on the downside, Rahu is poison, so it can cause cancer, skin cancer, prostate, lymphoma cancers. Let's look at the timing of events. So his first hit was in 1970, down to earth, during a Rahu period, bringing good fortune. In 77, his biggest hit was Margaritaville. During a Mercury period, again, being able to communicate his life purpose through singing. In 82, he started his retail chain of clothing stores called Margaritaville. Brought a lot of success during a Venus period, Venus ruling the house of wealth and fame. And 87, he wrote his first children's book during a Jupiter period. Jupiter has to do with publishing, and brought more fame as well. 89, he invested in a baseball team during a Saturn period, Saturn ruling the house of competition. 92, he started Margaritaville Records, wrote another book also during a Mercury period. Mercury, again, having to do with communications. And in 94, he was in a plane crash during a K2 period, K2 having to do with sudden unexpected events. 2011, he had a heart attack during a Saturn period, a Saturn ruling the house of health. And we already know that Sun is weak. Sun is an indicator for heart issues. In 2012, he got prostate cancer during a Saturn-Venus period, Venus ruling the sexual organs. In 2016, he had rotator cuff surgery during a Saturn-Mars period, Mars having to do with surgery, Saturn having to do with rotator cuff skeletal structure. 2019, he got skin cancer during a Rahu period, Rahu's poison cancer. And then he died in September 1st, 2023, of lymphoma during a Mercury period. Mercury is ruling the chart. It's his body. And Mercury was, if you look at the transit chart on the left, the outer circle is where the planets were when he passed away. Inner circles where the planets were when he was born. You see that Mercury is right on the right, near the rising sign degree, having full impact and going through the 12th house of end of life. Also, you see in that chart that Sun is its 7th aspect is Saturn. So Sun is afflicting malefic Saturn which is the indicator for longevity. And the sun is in the 12th house of end of life. So what can we do to strengthen the chart? So he was involved in a lot of charity work, which would be transforming the malefics, Rahu, Ketu, Saturn, Mars, and Sun. And then strengthening his weak planets with my favorite remedy, a kavash, which is a silver locket containing the Devata yantras for his benefic planets. If you'd like to get a kavash or get a reading or learn Vedic astrology, you can go to www.vastucreations.com. Thank you so much for listening.